you know, it used to be we're required by the nonviolent philosophy, but now we're required by survival. We are required by survival to love each other, to be in love with the world and all of its creatures, including humanity. We can do that. We can talk to ourselves in such a way, and everyone here has practices they do. Everybody already knows this. I'm just reminding myself of it and, you know, offering it forward.
The thing that is very obvious, but that we, I think, forget, is that all of humanity means the people that are doing the bad things.
Yes, it does.
And that's hard. But
Yeah.
it does include them, and perhaps even
Right.
more love is required there.
So nonviolence is a step in opening the heart, and compassion and forgiveness is also part and parcel of this, right? So for those that you're
they live in the
so
heart.
those you're speaking truth to.
Yeah. You know, thank you. Something just popped into my head. I have my outline I got to stick to. But I never shared my stories in my, you know, nonviolent practices of action. It actually never occurred to me to. I mean, maybe I did with my family, but I don't think an awful lot. It really didn't occur to me to. And the idea of, well, never mind that. A student at Western, I had no idea, I don't know why, I had never met him, but he wanted to interview me. Just about, I guess, pretty much this topic. And in the course of that, I started to remember some of my stories. And then I didn't feel good about it. I didn't think they were important. I know other people's stories that I'd much rather hear. But gradually, I have come to view my stories and to feel my stories as sacred, which of course they are, because everybody's stories are sacred. And so maybe mine are too. So a story just popped into my head, and that was, you know, I told Michael a couple of my stories. I was at Offutt Air Force Base, where they have nuclear-armed planes at all times, ready to take. I think the engines are running, I swear to God, they're ready to take off.
What's the name of the place?
Offutt Air Force Base. And I was with quite a few other people. We did a ceremony. People did, it was near Hiroshima Day. And people did a Japanese dance, and we had people who spoke. And Offutt knew that we were going to do this. I mean, they couldn't miss us. There were quite a few of us. We were going to trespass onto the base. It's the Strategic Air Command headquarters. And there were counter-protesters yelling, "Yay, the SAC!" And they were really loud. But the time came when we were going to trespass onto the base. And so I was in this state of being, of heart presence. I mean, we're all in it to varying degrees, you know. Sometimes we're in it a little bit, open it up a crack. But I felt, you know, because I'd been walking on the Great Peace March across the country, I had seen this Japanese dance, I was, you know, profoundly in heart space. So we stepped over the line, and they lined up soldiers so that each one of us had our own soldier that was going to arrest us and take us into detention. And then they were not going to pursue it. They gave us each a ban and bar letter, which says that if you come back there, I think it's 5 years, that you will be prosecuted. And so you have your little letter. So it wasn't dangerous, but it was lot of feelings. And it seemed scary to step onto Strategic Air Command with the nuclear-armed planes. Well, my soldier was a woman soldier. She stepped forward, she put her arm behind me and grabbed me by my elbow and left my right arm hanging and started leading me away. Now, there are some rules, which I told her we're not going to do, tactics and strategies and that kind of thing. But one rule is never touch a cop and never touch a soldier. And I knew that very well. However, because of the state I was in, and this is what the heart can do, my right arm came up and went around her shoulder. It was really not a decision I made. It just happened. And she let it stay there. So we walked quite a long way through Offutt Air Force Base to the detention area. I didn't look at her, but at the very end when she let go of me, I saw a tear running down her cheek. And I wrote down, when I remembered all this, I wrote it down and I ended the story something like, we looked to all appearances like arrested and arrestor, you know, marching toward a detention center. But in fact, we were sisters walking under the blue Omaha sky. So that just came to me now because we all know, you probably know better than I do, you know, what heart resonance can do when it's there, when you're present with it, and it's happening. Don't you? Sure you do. I mean, of course you do. But sometimes it's harder to drop down into that and let that be when it's scary, you know. So that's one little story. Thank you.